Hi everybody, this is Victoria. Welcome back to another new episode of Discovering Art Together. Today, we're going to discover something very new in art style that I actually did not know that actually existed. It's called Arte Povera. It's spelled A-R-T-E, and I thought it was Arte Povera, but it's actually Arte Povera. So we're going to jump in and see what is Arte Povera, and also some cool, interesting, and important things to learn about Arte Povera. Also learning some characteristics of what makes Arte Povera, and also learning who in the world created this art movement, and also learning some of the famous artists from this particular era. So if you guys are ready to learn more about Arte Povera, let's get started. So our first question is, what is Arte Povera? Arte Povera basically means poor art. But when they mention about poor art, the word poor doesn't exactly mean the value of it though, but it refers to the movement's signature exploration of wide range of materials beyond the traditional ones, such as oil painting on canvas, bronze, or carved marble. The artists in this art movement mostly used soil, rags, and twigs. Now, what is cool, interesting, and important about Arte Povera? Arte Povera artists proposed an artistic practice that was much more interested in materiality and physicality, and borrowed forms and materials from everyday life. Arte Povera's materials may have been plain and simple, but the ideas were rich. In their work, these artists registered dissent about the directions of society, putting in their art themes such as nationality, immigration, changing environment, rising urbanization, the loss of everything natural, and much more. The term was introduced by the Italian art critic and curator Giovanni in 1967. When referring to the Arte Povera, Celent wasn't really talking about the lack of money, but rather about making art without the restraints of traditional practices and materials. His pioneering texts and as a series of key exhibitions provided a collective identity for a number of young Italian artists based in Turin, Milan, Genoa, and Rome. Arte Povera emerged from within a network of urban culture activity in these cities as Italy was seized by economic instability. A big influence of Arte Povera is the heyday of the movement was from 1967 to 1972, but its influence on later art has been enduring. It can also be seen as an Italian contribution to conceptual art. In Japan, the Mono-ha group looked into the essence of materials and stepped away from technological modernism. Now that is pretty cool. So let's learn some of the three main characteristics of what makes Arte Povera Arte Povera. Number one is humble materials. Arte Povera pieces rely on primitive or everyday materials which the artists often shape or manipulate in unexpected ways. Using these kinds of humble historic materials carries the intention of critiquing the coldness and minimalism of modern art. Number two is ironic tone. Arte Povera is often sarcastic or satirical in its distrust of industry, urbanization, and the modern world. It also usually has a biting, bitter, or spiteful edge. Number three is unconventional forms. The early Arte Povera movement was concerned with creating avant-garde forms of expression beyond painting. Instead of artists created sculptures, performances, and interactive work challenging the boundaries between art world and the mundane world. A common question I learned about people asking about Arte Povera is what is the difference between Arte Povera and minimalism? The movement mainly opposed the ever-presence of American minimalism, but did not fully reject the mystery it involved. Rather, they aimed to remove its scientific rationalism and to create comic, absurd juxtapositions that called to mind the works of Dadaist artists. Now let's take a look and see who created Arte Povera. The term Arte Povera was first introduced in 1967 by the Italian curator and art critic Germano Cello. When using the phrase, Cello wasn't specifically referring to the lack of money, but more about making art without the constraints of traditional materials and practices. His pioneering work, alongside a series of successful exhibitions, provided a group identity for many young Italian artists based in Rome, Milan, Turin, and Genoa. Arte Povera came onto the scene thanks to the network of urban culture activity in these areas, as Italy was gripped by economic instability and its associated hardship. Now let's take a look at some of the famous artists from Arte Povera. Leading artists of the time included Giovanni Anselmo. He is a self-taught artist known for his sculptural installations created under the Arte Povera movement, an artist of many mediums. He used a vast array of materials including stone, paint, piles of earth, and even lettuce to provoke thought and wonder. We also have Allegriero Boetti. Boetti is most famous for a series of embroidered maps of the world called Mappa, created between 1971 and his death in 1994. Informed by his wide travels, Boetti addressed many of the concerns that artists today find equally fruitful, notions related to time and the temporal nature of making art, often with purposeful inefficiency, delegating fabrication to skilled craftspeople, and geopolitics and the social context of labor. Next we have Pier Paolo Calzolari. Contemporary Italian artist Calzolari is best known for his work in the fairly radical Arte Povera group of 1960s and 1970s, which used unconventional materials and spaces to resist the corporate capitalist industrialism of the post-war period. Janus Kounelis was a Greek-Italian artist who was an integral part of the radical Italian art movement Arte Povera. He is known for his mixture of painting, installation, and performance that probes the boundaries of contemporary art. We also have Mario Merz, a leading artist of Arte Povera movement in the 1960s who worked in sculpture, painting, installation, and photography. He used ordinary objects and everyday junk while also employing traditional art materials. Reoccurring themes in his work including the igloo and the Fibonacci sequence. We also have Luciano Fabbro, one of the founders of Arte Povera. Luciano Fabbro expressed himself through a wide variety of materials and forms. In addition to creating art, Fabbro also taught and wrote numerous texts that document his engagement in cultural debate. If you like this video, you'll also might be curious about this video over here, which is called Pop Art, and that is the art movement that came before Arte Povera. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope you guys discovered something new about Arte Povera. And hopefully you also got introduced to this if you didn't know what in the world Arte Povera is like. I have no idea what it was. I didn't know it existed, but it was pretty cool to do some research about it, discover it, and share it with you guys. So thank you again so much, and if you liked this video, please remember to click the like button and also make sure to subscribe to get the latest updates on when a new episode like this comes out, so you get to learn more about art history and different artists and art movements, and super excited to share more with you guys. And also, comment down below and let me know what was your favorite part about Arte Povera, and if you have any questions about it, I'll be more than happy to answer and kind of chat with you guys to see what else we can discover about Arte Povera. Thanks again, and I shall see you guys in the next episode. Stay creative, have fun, happy drawing and painting, and I'll see you next time. Bye!